coming to you from the Long Island Museum Row here in Garden City, New York. And I'm at the grand opening, or I should say grand rededication of the famous Nunley Carousel, which spent many years on Sunrise Highway in Baldwin, Long Island, until the amusement park, the longtime amusement park, closed, and the carousel went up for auction and was then rescued by the County of Nassau to be placed here in the Cradle of Aviation Museum complex. This event has been taken over 15 years in coming, and after a lot of help from support from the public and carousel fans and kids and families all the way here in Long Island, the carousel is now ready to be open to the public to be ridden again for the first time since 1995. Let's go back and take a look at the story of this carousel and how it came to be here on the Long Island Museum Row. I reported on how an historic carousel at a little suburban amusement park was about to go up on the auction block, but was later saved by Nassau County. The carousel at Nunley's amusement park once turned at Golden City in Canarsie, Brooklyn, but had been at this Baldwin, Long Island Kittyland along Sunrise Highway for over 60 years. So what has happened to this Stein & Goldstein carved carousel since its roadside home closed in 1995? Well, for most of the past decade, not much. The County of Nassau purchased the ride and then put it into storage, with plans to have it restored and back up and running at a new home in the Long Island Museum Row next to the Cradle of Aviation Museum. A campaign to raise money for the carousel's restoration was started by the Friends of Long Island Heritage. However, that organization eventually lost their contract to maintain other historic places in the county and then went out of business, leaving the restoration of Nunley's Carousel in limbo and their future home up in the air. At this point, the disassembled carousel sort of fell into a tug-of-war between two opposing factions, one led by rock star Billy Joel, who wanted to see Nunley's Carousel set up in a park in Oyster Bay, and another group of local leaders from the village of Baldwin, who wanted the carousel returned to their community. This stalemate went on for several years, until a little girl who had heard of this carousel and wondered why it had not been running for so long captured the attention of the county government by proposing a new fundraising campaign involving area schools to raise monies for the ride's restoration. This grassroots campaign evolved into an organization called Pennies for Ponies and has succeeded once again in focusing the spotlight on getting Nunley's Carousel restored. Meanwhile, the dispute over where the ride's new home would be was settled, and the carousel would in fact turn again at the Long Island Museum Row next door to the Cradle of Aviation Museum, which was the original plan when the carousel was first rescued from the auction block. And what has become of the former site of Nunley's amusement park, only a few miles away from the Museum Row? It is now occupied by just another Pep Boys car repair shop. With all of the money raised by Pennies for Ponies, plus additional funding provided by Nassau County, the historic Nunley's Carousel was finally packed up from the airplane hangar where it sat for almost 15 years and shipped out to Ohio for a much-needed restoration job that would take 2 more years. But today, in 2009, the horses are finally back in Long Island and are now ready for their first riders since 1995. ready now with the dedication ceremonies of Nunley's Carousel here. So let's go right now to the opening ceremonies.
Mary carried the baseball games through the place, knew all their names. You could see her there every day, shout hooray! In your eyes, let me call you sweetheart.
And they named us. I did. And they went outside.
Tell me I'm the only one that's
Get back to my kid.
It's going to be a couple of quick speeches. It's a red ribbon on
Beautiful bathrooms. The guy said they're gorgeous bathrooms.
Carousel! You know, I know some of you have been here since 11 o'clock and we said we get kicked off at 12 o'clock, and that's what we're doing right now. My name is Tom Swazi. I'm the Nassau County Executive, and welcome to the opening of Nunley's Carousel. Now, there's a lot of great history behind this carousel, and some people will be talking about it during the course of the day today. But a great part of the history is that there were people that cared about it so much. People that worked to get enthusiasm from the local communities involved. And two of the most important people, two of the heroes of getting this facility back together are standing up here with me right now. And one of those heroes who I'm going to introduce in a second is a little girl who started a Pennies for Ponies program, and we're very, very proud of her. Let's start by giving her a round of applause. Rachel Oberg. And while Rachel and her mom and their friends built a lot of enthusiasm and got sponsors and raised almost $100,000 for this facility from different sponsors, it was really one of our county legislators who's from the Baldwin district, who's from Baldwin here today? Anybody? Well, one of Nunley's first homes in Nassau County was in Baldwin. And the legislator from that district has been fighting for years, even through all the financial crisis in the county. We've got to get this thing done. We've got to do it. And Joe Scannell has been fighting for Nunley's Carousel for the past 5 years. And it really did cost a lot of money to put this thing together with the building itself so that you wouldn't have to stand out in the rain like this. Sorry about that, everybody. And to refurbish the facility. So instead of me giving a long speech, I'm going to try and keep everybody as dry as possible and bring forward one of the stars of the hour. Let's give another round of applause to Rachel Oberg.
When people work together, amazing things can begin. When kids work together, they most certainly win. The kids of the county all worked as one to help restore the carousel and get the job done. They collected quarters, nickels, pennies, and dimes, with bake sales, art shows, and washing cars many times. Adults pitched in and they spread the word. They helped by adopting the rest of the herd. The chariots in Oregon were sponsored too. Does anyone adopt a rounding board or two? Come speak to me at the Pennies for Ponies table after the ribbon cutting ceremony. The thanks for this day certainly don't end there. Thank you to the county for doing more than their share. They built this beautiful building and made the garden sing, families to enjoy and grab the brass ring. So jump on a horse and ride up and down. It's guaranteed to make you smile and erase every frown.
And I want you to know that she's just got her moment in the sun here for a few moments, but this little girl has been working on this with her mother for years. Let's give them one more big thank you for all the work that they put in. Now, the expression of gravity, I'm going to introduce the second grade choir from the Reinhard Early Center in Belmore. We're going to sing the Carousel song. Let's hit it, choir. Everybody sing that. From the 5th Legislative District, Joe Scannell.
Thank you very, very much, Tom. We appreciate everybody coming out today. You know, Nunley's was a very, very magical place in Baldwin. As a kid, I went there so many times. As a kid and as a young adult, we went to the Ferris wheel, we went to the roller coaster, we loved the skeet ball, but of course, as everybody knows, the main attraction was the carousel behind us. And they did just an unbelievable job. I have just such great, unindelible memories of riding the carousel as a kid and reaching for that gold ring, the silver ring, and the brass ring, like many people here today. How many people rode the carousel out here too, right? Yeah, absolutely. The carousel was built in 1912 in Brooklyn, as you guys may not know. It spent a lot of time in Brooklyn and then came to Baldwin and spent 55 years on Sunrise Highway in Baldwin. So that's why it's such a Baldwin institution, and everybody's just so incredibly happy about this being restored today. Rachel and Beth did a great job. All the Pennies for Ponies kids raised $100,000 towards this restoration. Woohoo! Yeah. The Pennies for Ponies people did such a great job. There were county workers who did a great job working on this project. We bid it out to an Ohio.
I was actually on the Board of Supervisors back then when I was the mayor of Glen Cove. We voted to buy this property, but it really sat in storage for years because the county didn't have the money to get it fixed. And it wasn't until we got out of the financial crisis that we inherited that the county was able to invest in wonderful projects like this. And now it's tied in to the great Cradle of Aviation Museum and the great Children's Museum that's right nearby. And there will be more things that will come to this area as we try to build this as the center of Nassau County and one of the center destination points, a part of the Nassau County hub. For example, the Coliseum project is a very, very important. Who likes the idea of having the Coliseum redone? Raise your hand. They got to push for that because it's a very controversial project these days. Okay, I'm going to now bring forward, I'm going to ask him to cut it a little bit shorter than he normally would because I know that you guys are getting wet and anxious to get this thing started. I apologize. There have been people who have been working on this for years that were waiting for this day, so we really have to go through these different steps. Gary Monty is the director of the museum at Cradle of Aviation history program. He knows the thing since the very beginning. Let's give a round of applause for Gary Monty.
As you know, the Carousel, 1912, it was built in Brooklyn. It's 97 years old. We have, it was built by the team of Stein and Goldstein, was the makers of this Carousel. We have descendants of Stein and Goldstein here today. Susan Simmerling and Janet Janowski are with us today. The Carousel was in Baldwin for 25 years, and it came to in Brooklyn for 25 years at a place called Golden City Park. It was moved to Baldwin because of the Belt Parkway was built right through Golden City Park. So it was in Baldwin for 3 generations, and it was run by 3 wonderful guys, the LeCarry brothers, Lou, Jack, and Steve LeCarry, and their family are here today. We have Alice and her daughter and their family. So a round of applause for the LeCarry brothers. Then in 95, the county realized that this was a very important artifact and it needed to be preserved. And I'd like to just give a shout out to Ed Smith, who brought it to their attention in 1995. Then they went into storage in that building. And I used to go in there and see them every so often. They used to give me that look, when are we coming out? Well, they're out now, and thanks to County Executive Tom Swazi and to Joe Scannell, they've surveyed a lot of sites and found that this is the best. This is part of the hub. So the carousel is up and running. It's 97 years old. It looks great.
Ed is in there with his granddaughter.
And I hope you enjoy it. The horses are happy again. Thank you.
I thank our Long Island Harmonizers chorus that's up there today. I want to thank the Big Apple Circus Clowns. And I want to thank the Islanders and Sparky. And let's go cut the ribbon. Come on inside, everybody.
Okay, everybody, may I have your attention, please? I know everybody's anxious. Well, my children are here today as well. They're anxious to get started as well. So I'm going to ask everybody to participate with Rachel, myself, and County Legislator Scannell and do a countdown from 10 down. You ready? 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The carousel is open.
here I am with, well, at the present time, 2 out of the 3. 2 out of the 3 folks who helped bring Nunley's Carousel back to life, and here on the Long Island Museum Row, and you all remember my friend Beth Olberg of Pennies for Ponies, so we were back here again 2 years later after we first met.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Carousel's open.
That's right, now there is something actually here.
As opposed to just horses sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah, well, most of them were in the barn, in the hangar over there. But you know, thanks to your daughter Rachel, you know, I mean, the county got moving and the community got behind it, and the carousel's now up. Now, this is not the end of your job. This is really sort of like the end of the beginning, isn't it?
Yep. Now we have to do programming and run the carousel.
And maintain it, of course.
And maintain it. That will be good.
Yeah.
Now's the fun part.
Well, the fun part is when it's going, you know. So are you pleased with the restoration by Carousel Works?
Yeah, Carousel Works did an amazing job. Perfect.
Yeah, the Carousel is like more colorizingly diverse now, instead of them all being just dapple grays. Did you notice that?
Yes, we tried to go back to the original colors.
Although somebody told me yesterday they weren't even sure those were the original colors, so they just took what.
Well, we used the what the carvers would have used. So based on who the carver was, we tried to use their colors.
Well, they look more horsey colors, and that's what I really like about them.
And we used the colors of the schools that sponsored the horses. We used their school colors on them too.
That's right, I know. And every horse that was sponsored now has a name, so you don't have to say this horse or that horse. You can actually look down on the floor and see they have a name. Although there are 2 pennies there.
Yep, because Billy Joel and Rachel said, Billy Joel said, great minds think alike.
I was hoping Billy Joe was going to be here today, but...
No, well, he actually, the child that rode his horse was a child from Make-A-Wish. So that was really sweet.
Oh, I see. Okay. And that was, well, I saw him earlier, my friend Bob Stumer, who actually programmed the organ, so that was nice to see Bob again and actually hear his handiwork there.
He did a great job.
Yes, he did. Oh, and over here we have, yes, Gary Monty. And again, you are the Director of History here at the Cradle of Aviation Museum?
Director of Museum Operations.
Oh, of the Cradle of Aviation Museum?
Yes.
Okay, you're not all the museums on the road.
Oh, no, just the Cradle of Aviation Museum and the Carousel.
Oh. And
the IMAX Theater.
Ah, okay. Well, those are the best parts.
Yeah.
Now, is it because the Carousel is physically next door to the Aviation Museum that it falls under your care?
Yes, that's true.
Yes. So
we'll be running it.
Okay, that's great. And will it be? And so what will the schedule be? Will this be an all year round carousel?
Yeah, it will be. It'll be on during the school year. It'll be open Tuesdays through Sunday, from 12 to 3 for the general public. We'll have reservations earlier in the morning for school groups, and then on the weekends during the school year, it'll be Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 5. In the summer, it's 7 days a week. Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 7. I'm sorry, Friday and Saturday, 12 to 7, Sunday, 12 to 6, Monday through Thursday, 12 to 5.
That's great. This carousel will actually be open a lot more than it was when it was on Sunrise Highway, isn't it true?
Yeah, true, because when it was in Baldwin, it was seasonal. It would open up in, I believe, middle of April and run until the middle of October.
You and Beth and Rachel, where is she? I know she's running around playing.
Don't forget the county.
Pardon?
Don't forget the county. They restored it. They built this beautiful building.
That's right, the County of Nassau here on Long Island. And oh yeah, that's another thing. I noticed how the Carousel Rim it's got the whole heritage of Nassau County up there.
Yeah, it's because the art panels of the Carousel were second generation. They weren't original, and they were in really poor shape. So it didn't make sense to restore them the way they were because they weren't original. So they decided to make it reflect Nassau County.
Oh, okay. That was one thing I wasn't sure because they were so old. I mean, those are the only painting. I didn't know those weren't even...
No, they weren't original. There's very few. I think the only piece of original artwork that was still in the Carousel was the back of the Blue Chariot. That's it.
Ah.
Everything else was done over many times.
And so is the back of the Chariot preserved?
That's original. I mean, it's not original. It's been restored to what it originally looked like. Because if you remember, that Carousel was green, but they found that the original Carousel was blue, and that was original paint.
Ah. Well, I remember. See, now I remember all the horses. They were originally almost all of them were dapple gray, so it was almost like a monotone when you think about it.
Yeah, because you know why? Because it was easy to keep them clean, that color. That's why they did that, and it was just simple to every year they prep them up a little bit, and they just did what was easy. It was called park paint.
Yes, I know, park paint. Well, Nunley's was an amusement park, a small one.
Sure, and they were nice, as they were, but they're much nicer now.
Yes, I mean, it's more, as I told Beth, it's almost more coloristically diverse.
Yes, I agree with you. Yep.
Yeah, and again, I like the fact that they're real horse colors now, or pretty close.
Pretty close.
I mean, even some of the saddles actually look like leather color.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of cute too.
They did a great job with that. They did overall. They did a magnificent job with this restoration.
Yes,
very happy with it.
Yes, and we're talking about Carousel Works down in Mansfield, Ohio. Well, anyway, Gary, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and also thanks for having me here, because I was a big fan of this carousel and of all carousels everywhere. Yes, and Beth, congratulations.
Thank you.
Job well done with both you and Rachel. And well, we look forward to coming back here and enjoying the carousel with everybody. And okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.
Oh, you have more fans there.
Right. Well, we hope you spend some time out here at Long Island Museum Road and ride Nunley's Carousel. And while here, you can also enjoy the Cradle of Aviation Museum and the Long Island Children's Museum and the Long Island Fire Museum. And details on this attraction are coming up right now.